was a cold winter's evening when I first understood that my family would never understand me. Their laughter echoed through the ancient walls of our family home, a cacophony of derision that seemed to wrap around me like a noose. I had just returned from my first conference as a necrobotanical investigator, armed with data, findings, and the specter of undeniable truths. Yet all they could see was a failure in a field they deemed ridiculous and disturbing. "Look at her, our little ghost whisperer," my brother Kyle mocked, his voice layered with mock affection. "What's next? Cadavers in the garden? Going to talk plants into growing?" The moment hung thick in the air, their laughter slicing through me like a knife. I could feel the heat rising in my cheeks, the weight of rejection collapsing on my chest. I had devoted my life to uncovering the hidden horrors of decay, to understanding the grotesque communication between dying roots and the Earth's restless dead. But in their eyes, I was just a girl who had lost her mind, a disgrace. Years passed, and with each dismissive comment, I became more determined. I dug deeper into the field that so many feared to tread. Nights turned into mornings spent in darkened labs, surrounded by jars of soil infused with the decay of the recently deceased. I charted the patterns of rot, the whispers of the damned carried on the wind, and soon reports of my findings began to surface through the academic community. The ridicule morphed into curiosity, then reverence, as I became a renowned expert in paranormal astrobiology. And then the day came when I returned home. I stood on the threshold of our family house, the place where I had once felt so trapped. Now the echoes of laughter that once mocked me became a haunting reminder of the pain I had endured. The air was thick with bitterness and frost as I knocked. My family's faces were a mixture of disbelief and apprehension when they opened the door. "What do you want?" my mother asked, barely concealing her scorn. "I'm here to show you the truth," I replied, my voice steady but my heart raced like thunder in my chest. "You need to see this." For a moment they exchanged glances, wondering how to deny me again. But the shadows that clung to me, the lurking knowledge of what I had faced, seemed to freeze their responses. I stepped inside, a storm of memories swirling around me. "Why do you look like that?" Kyle sneered, his eyes narrowing in disdain. "You've got dirt on your hands and in your hair." "Because I've been where you can't even fathom," I said, my tone biting. "And I come bearing knowledge." With trembling fingers, I opened my bag to reveal samples. The jars were transparent, swirling with the grotesque remnants of my research, the mingled essence of plant decay and something darker, something that breathed and whispered just beyond comprehension. "Are those?" my mother started, panic creeping into her voice. "Necrobotanical specimens. They're alive in the way you don't understand," I interrupted, my urgency spilling into the room. "These are the roots that communicate with the dead. I've recorded the messages. What they say, they tell me things." Before I could finish, the lights flickered, casting unnerving shadows across the living room. A chill swept through the air, the kind that clings to your skin and sends a shiver down your spine. It was as if the house itself was listening, waiting. And in that moment, I knew the truths I carried would unfold. "Stop it! This is ridiculous!" Kyle shouted, but his voice faltered as the shadows thickened. The jars began to tremble on the table. A low, mournful whisper filled the space, a broken symphony that made our hearts race. I could feel the air growing heavy with the weight of their disbelief, and the voices grew louder, coalescing into a dark, chilling music that spoke of decay and despair. My family's faces turned pale as the shadows slithered from the walls, twisting together like living roots. They seemed to expand, reaching toward us, drawing on the very energy of our disbelief. "Mom, Dad, look!" I shouted, entreating them to see the horrors they had dismissed for so long. "This is real. You need to believe." The whispers intensified, intertwining with the silence of our collective fear. Words, roots, and ghosts melded into a horrifying truth, revealing the curses hidden beneath the soil we had once walked upon. The very ground that felt so solid beneath our feet now trembled with the weight of the dead. My family staggered backward, their eyes wide with terror, their laughter replaced by breathless fear. As the shadows surged forward, I felt a terrible understanding wash over me. They would now know the cost of their scorn, the price of their dismissal. With a final scream, the shadows converged, a vortex of regret and revelation enveloping them. For each mocking word they had spoken, the very roots of the earth echoed back with the weight of their disbelief. When the darkness receded, I stood alone, the air heavy with silence. In that moment of calm, I understood. I had faced the horrors of what lay beneath, and I had survived. My family, however, would forever carry the burden of their ignorance, a chilling reminder of the truths they had refused to accept. I left them there, standing in the remnants of their shattered beliefs. As I stepped out into the cold night, I felt the weight of the dark crown I wore, a testament to my survival. In my quest for understanding, I had unearthed the secrets of life and death, and now those truths followed me like a haunting melody, beautiful, terrible, and forever entwined with my existence. The world may have scorned my path, but at that moment I embraced my fate. The soil held its breath, waiting for the next whisper of decay.